Republican Senator Lindsey Graham. Senator Graham, the question was put to President Obama whether or not Secretary Geithner should go. He says no. Should he go or not stay?
Well, it'll be up to the president. Right now, no one's going to go as long as someone doesn't have to pay a price. But if there ever got to be a point in time where this administration had to change policy and had to show the public that we're going to change course, Geithner would be the first guy to go. But I think he's okay. Particularly what happened today has probably helped him.
At what point do we make that assessment? I mean, is that an assessment we make about whether or not they need to, quote, change directions, which is code for failure, I guess?
But that's easy in this town. People go when they become somebody has to go, and keeping the same team in place is a political liability. This is a business, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. When they tell you I have absolute confidence, I wouldn't accept his resignation. What that means in the real world is if I got to fire somebody, he's the first to go.
All right, but at what point do we know whether or not this policy that the president has undertaken, this economic policy, which is quite a grand one? I mean, it's an awful lot of money.
Good question.
June, July, August, December.
I think weeks instead of months. I asked Alan Greenspan that very question. When will we know if this new bank plan will work? And he said, this is a very sweetheart deal for investors. If I put $1 million into the pot, the government will loan me $9 million, and if I lose the $9 million, they can't come and get it back. The only thing I lose is the money I put in the pot. You leverage it about 8 or 9 or 10 to 1. We'll know in a few weeks if the private sector wants to take part of this, and why would they not? After the AIG debacle in the House, where the House was going to tax people at 90%, there are a lot of people sitting out there tonight saying, do I want to do business with the federal government, given the way the federal government has behaved? We may have scared everybody off from wanting to do business with us. We'll know in a month or so.
Well, if it's such a sweetheart deal that everyone talks about, I mean, if I have $10,000 to invest, am I eligible to get into this, or is this like just the big guys who can get into this?
Well, I think it's going to be the big guys because of the amount of money. I don't know what the rules are, but I know this.
There's no way for me to get in on it?
Well, I'll call Greta.
No,
I'll see.
No, but I mean,
well,
but that's sort of the interesting thing.
Maybe everybody listening, we can pool our money and we'll be an investor.
We can do our own hedge fund. The Greta Wire hedge fund.
The Greta people, but I don't know. It'd be hedge fund.
I mean, if it's such a sweetheart deal, I mean, it seems to me since the taxpayers have been, this has been on their back for so long, and their future generations are going to pay for it. It shouldn't just be the huge institutions that get this sweetheart deal. Somehow, I think the rest of us should be able to get in on it. Or, maybe not. I'm not saying me, but people who.
It's a lot of money. There's $1 trillion at least of these bad loans. To get them out of the system, there are two ways to do it. The government can buy them and have all the risk of trying to get their money back, or you can share that risk. And the sharing here is about 10% by the private sector and 90%.
That's a great deal.
Well, that's a hell of a deal.
I mean, assume it's not that toxic, but that's what I mean. That's my point, is that there must be some way that, the people out there who don't have jobs but may have a little savings, they ought to be able to get in on it. If it's such a great deal.
I don't know what the minimum bet is, but I'll get back with you. I'll be on your show, and I'll tell you if it's a $5 table or a $1 billion table.
How much should we hang our hat on the fact that the market went up about 500 points today?
Well, that's good news, but like Steve says, markets fluctuate. Housing sales went up 5%. That doesn't mean housing values have come back. We got excess inventory. When you got more demand, more supply than you have demand, our home values have gone down dramatically. Sales have gone up because people are
great deals.
Well, they have some credit available. I think the big reason they're great deals, and now you can begin to borrow money. If you put $1 trillion into the mortgage system, somebody's going to have some money to lend to you. But when you put $1 trillion in, which is borrowed, you're going to create inflation down the road. So what we're doing today to jumpstart housing may bite us in the butt down the road.
Which, of course, is terrifying. Well, all right. Well, we'll be watching whether it's weeks. I don't know what it is, but
I think weeks.
Weeks anyway. Senator, thank you, sir.
All right, be back. Send your money into Greta.
Yes, we're collecting it. We're going to get in this deal. Senator Graham and I are going to run this pool.